Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Defense of the Patients. I am your host Cyphus. I'm sitting here with my co-host Roland.
Well, hello everybody.
And today a very special guest. You guys know him. He is the owner of Digital Chaos, one of the many behind Moonduck Studios, and a really interesting guy, as we found out the last time we had him on. Welcome, SUNSfan.
Hello, friends. It's been a long time.
It has.
How are you guys doing?
We're doing well. It's funny that you say long time because, you know, usually long time is like, wow, it's been 3 years since we've had you on. Like, the internet age, long time means like, dude, I haven't talked to SUNSfan in a week and a half. We should get him on the show. Like, it has been a week and a half. No, somewhere around August.
It's been like 4 months, right?
Yeah, September, I think.
Been about 4 months since we've had you on. Like we were talking right before we started recording, when we had you on the first time, we had you on with Sajidine, and DC had just formed. You guys had yet to play a game. We got a little bit into contracts. Of course, you guys weren't able to say much, understandably so, and now here we are, flash forward 4 months.
Definitely some fascinating insight into esports for those who may have missed that episode.
I don't think many did miss that episode, but...
Well, so how do you feel about...
I feel like I've aged so much since then.
I'm sure.
Not gonna lie.
Going gray? Is that what's happening with all the stress of running the team?
Well, actually, it's not just it's been the last year has been actually just awful, honestly.
Oh.
So it's been probably the most trying year of my quote-unquote career, but looking to turn over a new leaf now.
Well, so how are you feeling about DC's performance since they've kicked it all off?
Oh, they've been terrible. Well, okay, I'll preface that. So they have looked extremely good at times, and obviously since I have access to the players, I can watch literally every single one of their scrims, and they had been performing since we got 1437 absolutely amazingly, actually. And then whenever it comes down to like a big game, they just don't perform. And I mean, this is nothing new to the players. We've already had like internal meetings and whatnot, so it's been kind of sucky, honestly, because we did have some expectations. But like I've told the players, I do have confidence in them. And as far as an organization standpoint, and this is the most probably frustrating thing of all, is that I can't do anything more than I'm doing, you know? Like, I can't fill in for them. I can't
just jump on. Yeah, just jump on the mouse, take over the mouse, and just be like, you know what, you are, get out of here. Get out of here. I'm taking mid.
I've offered my Centaur services, but they're not too keen, unfortunately. But like I've been telling them, from an organization standpoint, I'm here for the long term. So if there's some, like, obviously it sucks not to make the last two majors, but there's bigger things to come, obviously.
Sure. Yeah. TI's on the horizon. You know, I'll be honest with you. I thought the best interviews that were given at the Summit 4 were from your players. I felt like
very well spoken.
They did a good job. Like, it made me like not like I don't really follow the pro scene as closely as I should, we'll say. But I looked at DC and was like, those guys are composed. Like, you can tell that those guys, you know, they want it. They just have to figure out the kinks. I mean, you're taking a TI5 winner, you know what I mean, and putting him on a team with a bunch of people who couldn't even fathom the amount of money, I'm guessing, that Aoi has.
But have impressive Dota records.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Bulba, of course, super impressive, you know.
Well, Bulba was one of the first, like, pro players that I ever really started to, like, follow or like, just because in my infancy of Dota 2, I was a huge Skywrath Mage fan. And it was
played
right as he
played
a ton of Skywrath. And
Yawar being Sumail's older brother, which, you know, you're just like, well, fucking runs in the family, definitely there.
There's just a cool narrative there, even.
And 1437 does a really good job at, I don't know, I'm happy that he's the captain. Based on the interviews that I've seen with him, it seems like he has a pretty level head, which is what you need. It doesn't seem like he's going to be like a salt shaker. He's all about probably like improving the team. And I mean, of course, when we had you on 4 months ago, you said a similar thing, that we don't expect to go in and just win a major or anything like that. Like, everybody's under the same expectation that we're a brand new team with a bunch of different players from a bunch of different backgrounds, and we're going to try and make it work. And I'd say
I think succeeded. I think Curtis AUI has been put in, I wouldn't say a bad light, but people have kind of turned it into a meme of sorts, where he said that we'd be second best NA by this major, the Shanghai major. And I mean, that was his goal, at least. And I don't see what the big deal... Like, I understand the whole being cocky, like, oh, we're going to win this. I feel like saying you want to be the second best NA is not exactly high aspiration.
No, you want to
That's
be
just
like,
my
I'm going to be the
personal
best in the
opinion.
world by the
Right.
second
Like
thing.
that's actually cutting yourself a little short, honestly. But,
Well, and who
I mean,
cares?
to that point, we haven't really exceeded expectations. At
And
all.
who cares if you set a lofty goal like that and go out and try to make it happen?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, I definitely don't get backlash over that.
Yeah.
I mean that among the world of esports, that feels like a relatively tame claim.
It does feel like a relatively tame claim. Another thing, going back to the episode, guys, we'll put in the description the link to the first interview we had with SUNSfan and Sajidine. Was talking about like professionalism in the scene and trying to make the scene kind of grow up a little bit. And I definitely think that, I don't know who's in charge or if the players are just a little more mature, but you don't see dumb bullshit coming out of DC's mouth, is what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
First and foremost, like, you guys aren't the gossip train. You guys aren't perpetuating stupid beefs.
Well, and your entire organization seems to be the level-headed voice anytime any type of controversy does arise.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, we seem to be attracted to that somehow, but
Yeah.
obviously not from us.
Well, I mean, of course you're going to be attracted to that because, I mean, the biggest story in, I don't know, Dota news in the last year has been Owie being kicked from EG. So, of course, you're going to get a lot of attention onto DC when you pick up Owie. Like, I think you're a smart guy. You knew that was going to happen. But any publicity is good publicity. So, I mean, it was a super smart move. And he's an excellent player.
How have you felt? I mean, that kind of reminds me. Like, how have you felt about like the fans' support of DC? Are you seeing a good outpouring from the community in support of them as a team?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It started off as me being this egocentric pile of garbage owner, like
where you're putting a
trying to
video
tout
out.
his-
Yeah, I remember.
Right,
That's
and
what we were
actually
talking about.
Yeah, it worked out to our benefit a little bit, honestly, because it turned into kind of a meme, and then some of those meme talkers, I don't even know what the term is, but they turned into fans, a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's this thing on Reddit where if you have a DC flare, it's considered like, I don't know exactly how it works, but I guess the way it works, the flares are only there for a temporary amount of time for each LAN, right?
Oh, cool.
And it's considered, if you have like a team that will never make another LAN, it's considered like very precious to have that. And it was kind of like a joke that, if you have the DC flare, it's never going to be up there again. So we might as well just keep it. And then some of those people actually turn into fans, and it's kind of crazy how that works out, honestly. But like you were saying, bad publicity is good publicity, and I mean, I think we're a perfect example of that, honestly.
Well, that also reminds me, when you go back and listen to the other episode, the big controversy when you first came on was that video that you released where basically people said, look, it's all about SUNSfan, but it should have been more about DC, which I disagreed with on that video. Do you remember the video I'm talking about?
Yeah, we saw it. I mean,
and then you're talking like, oh, I'm getting all this shit on Reddit. Of course, Reddit train hit me hard, and it's like, we're like, dude, you're fucking smart, honestly. Like, like that was a brilliant video to let out. Like, and it's true. I mean, it was establishing why Shannon can own a team, and then here's the team. Here's all my previous experience. It was like a resume video, basically, but people took it, of course, the wrong way.
Well, I think part of it, I mean, I was originally going to do a more traditional video with like highlights. Well, it would show the same stuff from me, and then it would transition to more highlights of the players. But the problem is, at the time, only like 3 of those players had any competitive experience. So it would be weird to show 3 players and then the 2 with no highlights.
Then some pubs.
I didn't feel left out.
Check out this Pugna. This UR plays a sick Pugna mid.
I think the I didn't want to get pub freaking.
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
I think the thing that I did agree with, now that I've thought about it, is I still think it was a perfectly fine video to put on Dota Cinema, but probably should have put a different video on the team YouTube.
Nah, no, that video was fucking gold, dude. Like, you knew exactly what was going on.
The
there.
internet doesn't remember it anymore.
Yeah, no,
so
and
who
that's
cares?
the thing. Talking about the speed of the internet, that video is so buried in the back of our minds, and we've totally forgotten about it. Like, but it works. Like, and another.
The meme is still alive, and a lot of people don't even know what it's about. Like, wait, why are we saying this again?
There can be worse memes. There can be worse memes.
definitely
For
can.
sure.
I don't need to mention the one meme that involves a certain manager that's out there that I'm sure he wishes was just gone from the internet. But no, there can be worse memes.
So what's coming up for DC? What's on the horizon?
Well, I guess nothing huge. I guess we're going to be doing captain's draft, which obviously MoonDuk will be hosting. We're going to be competing in We Play, and then as far as like changes, we don't have to technically make changes if we don't want to for the next 2.5 months, since the roster lock is going to be after Shanghai Major. But I think what the players want to do is kind of have an open tryout of sorts. Like nobody's getting kicked, at least not yet. I don't even know if it's going to happen at all, but what they want to do is just make sure that we take the best available players that are wanting to play for us, obviously.
I think a lot of teams would want that personally. Because here's the thing. You guys are obviously, and when I say you guys, I'm talking about you and Sajidine. You guys are really, really good at the marketing aspect of making a team look good, the logo look good, get it out there, get the jerseys, have the players do good interviews. I'm guessing that you guys have some control, or Sajidine maybe has the control over, let's not get involved in beefs, let's just be nice, let's be friendly, let's represent ourselves as professionals here, which has come across in a huge way and goes a long way.
You'd be surprised, actually, because like that was my original plan, obviously, because I'm a big sports guy, and obviously, like basketball in particular, it's a much more mature or much more developed scene, and like these players go through, classes or whatever the hell you call it, where they learn how to talk in interviews. They understand that you can't say this, you can't say this, blah blah blah. We haven't really had to do that because the players that we've had so far have been pretty mature, and then even the ones that are super young, like Yawar, are just like ridiculously quiet. They're very mellow, and that was actually a problem in the first iteration of the team. Is that everybody was too mellow? There's actually like you got to find a balance where somebody's got to put some fire in you if you're doing like you got to be held accountable for mistakes. You got to have a little bit more leadership, and that's kind of what 1437 has brought since he's been on the team. So I think that's something I've learned is you got to have a nice mix.
Yeah, you can't just be like, wow, dude, thanks for the tango. Let's keep moving. That's a great ward spot. Oh, I died.
I mean, not
no
to
worries.
say that they don't care about the game. It's just everybody's personality is different, and that
Absolutely.
sometimes they don't mesh well if they're all exactly the same.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, just based on, I've never met 1437. His Raynessa writes for us and has come on the show before, and she's kind of filled us in on what he's all about. And I think but once again, a great addition. I think it is good to have somebody that holds people accountable, that is a good player, that is willing to accept his own mistakes. Which you can tell that when he makes a mistake, he's not the type of person to be like, well, I'm impervious to making mistakes, but all of you can. Like a good captain can say, yeah, I fucked up there, guys. I'm sorry. And hold himself accountable, which is the makings of a great team, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I absolutely believe in DC. I think that setting expectations, though, like to be the second best team for Shanghai, can just set you up for failure. I just think just chugging along.
Yes, I don't have any issue with making that a goal. I mean,
a goal, but
competition is about bold statements and bold.
It is,
and it's
and
not
repping.
like it's not like you've got Aoi out there going, we're going to be the second best team in NA Dota, and every other team can suck it.
Yeah,
like that's not that's not how it's phrased.
Right, well, I guess that's how people took it, but I mean, when I read it, that's definitely not the way it came across.
You can say hi our Dota, and they'll take it a million different ways, and most of the comments will be "fuck you." So, which we're trying to get Leaf Eater on the show, by the way, SUNSfan. I want to have a talk with Leaf Eater about what it's like to moderate that beast.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
It's like literally impossible. Like I've tried to get a hold of him for the past 2 months, and I'm going to get him on the show, and we're going to talk about Reddit. God damn it, and how that fucking machine works.
That'll be an interesting episode.
Yeah. Oh, it'll happen, Leaf Eater. It'll happen, and that Marana Ancient bullshit you're trying to pull, where we hop up on that cliff and kill the fucking Runes pubs, bro. Throwing out those. Anyway, we're
going forever.
Yeah.
So, what's coming up for MoonDuk? What are you guys involved in the near future?
Captain's draft in 2 days.
Oh wow. Okay.
It begins.
So I think this will probably be the Monday episode, right? That we're recording right now. So.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No.
Just on the 19th.
Yeah. On the 19th. Okay.
So the 19th. So Tuesday is what we're looking at.
Right.
So tomorrow, we record obviously on Sundays. You guys all know this. We can't record it as you hear it because we're not live recording.
If you guys want to think that that's what we do, that's fine.
I'm just really just studio magic
and anytime
SUNSfan
you
in here.
pause the podcast, we get up and take a break like you do, and then when you come back, we sit back down and record some more.
I wish. I mean, it'd be nice if we did that. But
I've been watching What the Duck, which is a fine title for a podcast.
What the Duck?
Is that going to keep being a regular feature then?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really take much time to do, honestly, and we all find it fun. I mean, it's just essentially us hanging out, talking about what's happened in the last week or two.
And people are eating that shit up. So many people I've talked to within the DotP community that are like, oh, I just love to just, turn my game volume down and put What the Duck on. And just listen to What the Duck. Or I've seen hashtag What the Duck and chill. I've seen that hashtag a bunch of times. It's a really cool show where you get a bunch of these big name personalities that you realize are friends.
Even just the internal Moonduck crew would be enough for a show, I think. Or at least enough of a clash of interesting personalities to go and watch. But when you guys expand it out, it's all the better. It's been fun seeing Purge on a podcast.
Yeah.
And hearing his insights.
Well, he does have his own podcast too, actually.
I know he does. He started a
that.
podcast that probably 3 months ago. It's good.
Yeah, it's with Blitz and Hotbid. It's pretty good.
Blitz and Hotbid. They're like highly analytical. So it's like if you want to and they're funny. Like they break down like they're friends.
Yeah.
You can tell that they're all good friends. But Purge was the first person that I was like, what is this Dota 2 thing? Go to YouTube, and then it's like all these Purge plays. And I was like, okay, well, let's watch 110 of these and see if I'm good at Dota. Well, Purge, you let me down because I'm not good at Dota. But, yeah, no, he definitely, Purge has some really good insight. We still, Cyphus and I, when we play our try-hard Dota, we still, kind of are like, Purge said this. Purge said that if you do this, this is how you do it. We're at that level.
One way to play, guys. It's the Purge way.
It's the Purge way.
I think overall the Moonduck has been a very slow progression as well, which has been disappointing. But
hey, I see you guys in there.
Captain's Draft is what's that?
Oh, I see you guys in there all the time. I feel like whenever I go to watch the featured games in the client, I'm always clicking on the Moonduck to. Mm-hmm. It seems like Mott especially does a lot of casting under the
I've seen Pimp Muckle. He's doing casting.
Draft.
Pimp Muckle's good.
He doesn't really cast that much.
I saw a cast.
I think that's how he started.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean that was for the major qualifier, so everybody had to just jump in, and we tried to do a 24/7 stream. It didn't last quite 24/7, but it was still fun to do. We got a lot of a nice little community going. But I think the thing that people have been waiting for have been for us to do a major tournament, and that's what Captain's Draft is, because it's a 100K base prize pool. It has pretty much every team other than the two that declined, which is OG and Secret. But EG and all these other teams are coming, and it's been over a year since our last Captain's Draft, so it's a long time overdue, I think, and pretty excited to finally start casting again, because I'm a very intermittent caster. I don't know if that's the right term for it, but
it is.
I cast in spurts. I'm not. It's not really my goal to become, a main stage caster. I have other aspirations, but I do enjoy it from time to time, and
you're good at it.
I think that, we'll see.
I think you're good at it.
I haven't actually practiced, so that's one of my downfalls as well, is that I go in kind of raw and then just go with the flow, but. I mean, that's kind of my style. I like doing the kind of casual casting as well. So.
Sure. I kind of like the casual everything as well. So, with Moonduck, what is the plan? What's the next step? I mean, with a corporation like Moonduck, you've kind of constantly got to be spitballing ideas and trying to get yourself out there. I understand you're doing a $100,000 tournament here pretty soon. Is this the only thing that's on the horizon for Moonduck? Do you guys have other ideas that you think, you don't have to share them, but do you have other ideas that are going to be implemented to kind of solidify yourself as another studio?
Well, that was kind of the issue when we started, is that we had an idea of what we wanted to do, which was just maybe a mix of doing our own tournaments and then other tournaments as well, like third party. Mm-hmm. But we underestimated I don't know what a nice way to put this is. we underestimated the negotiation process in many cases where I feel like I can't say what I want to
Sure.
say.
No, it's fine.
Let's see, what's a
It didn't
nicer way to
work
put
out
this?
the way you wanted it to.
How about-
It's more the competition between the studios was more fierce than I imagined, I guess.
Okay.
Oh,
Like
I'm
I was
sure.
more of the mindset, and like Moonduck is very casual, you know, like we'll do whatever, and it's gotten to the point where people are doing things for free, and we can't afford to do that, obviously, so we have to
Right.
just do our own thing.
Sure.
So that's kind of something that we've learned to be more of a business, which is unfortunate, but
You gotta
I mean,
be.
it's just the way it is in the scene right now. So yeah, doing our own tournament. That's the idea. Is to do captain's drafts at first. Hopefully, maybe do 2 of them a year, and then maybe some elimination mode cups in between, like when the meta gets stale.
Mm-hmm.
And then hopefully some other tournaments. Like I think right now our main goal is to just host our own tournaments because we have the marketing tools, we have the casters, we have everything we need. We're in touch with good sponsors.
Solid
So-
infrastructure for sure.
Like unless there's like a LAN finals that somebody wants us to cast, I don't know how interested we're going to be
Sure.
over what we want to do ourselves.
So I kind of have something to add here. We had Zyori on like one day before Moonduck launched, and I think he talked about I think he came on here
He
and
talked about Moonduck.
I think it was like the introduction. He's like, it's going to be launched tomorrow. I'll talk about it today. And one of the really exciting things about Moonduck for me personally was that you guys were going to be a talent agency of sorts. That you were going to look out to the community and find, like Lyrical, for instance, for Beyond the Summit, just this up-and-coming caster that people really like. And that really was exciting for me. That was like, oh my God, there's so many people. I mean, especially all the people that Cyphus, myself, Easy, our whole organization deals with. I come across a talented person every single day that just needs a shot, you know what I mean? And then they could be there. And that's what really excited me about Moonduck was reading we're going to look at this as kind of like a talent agency. We're going to find new talent and hopefully incorporate them. What do you have to say on that front?
It's kind of on hold, honestly. I mean, a lot of it was predicated on the fact that we thought we would have more success at this point. I mean, you can't really be an agency when you can't even find jobs for yourself.
Sure.
I mean, that's a blunt way to put it. So
Sure.
I think now that we've kind of realized what the state of the market is and other mindsets in our field, we can go about it in a way that I think we're a little bit more confident now. And then once we have a better foothold on, or we're more gratified with what we've done in the past X amount of months, then we can start implementing some of those ideas that we had way back when. But right now it's just super unrealistic, honestly.
Yeah.
But if we were to expand, then absolutely.
Well, the Dota 2 community is one that so many people are willing to work really hard for free. And that's kind of what I thought you guys were getting at with the talent agency is that, so Dota 2 Canada Cup's coming up. All right, we're going to send us 5 minutes of your casting, and we will put you on with Zyori, and you can cast with Zyori for a game. And just, I don't know, give people some sort of limelight where they would never get that opportunity elsewhere. Was the impression that I was under. But yeah, like you said,
I mean,
it's hard to find
we didn't really
jobs.
flesh it out to that point, but I mean that's obviously a nice suggestion. It's just when those people are actually getting priority over other people that haven't been casting in our own studio, then you have an issue.
Then there's a huge issue, which is why I kind of stopped myself at the end and was like, no, Zyori and Mott and everybody, they probably want to be casting.
And they're
these-
established and they're good
and
at
they
it,
worked
and-
hard to get to where they are.
Right,
Instead.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I can't wait for you to become more successful with Moonduck and kind of make that talent agency thing come true where all these people that tweet at you guys hundreds of times, like, send us what you got, let's see what you have, and let's give you a chance. Because breaking into this, I mean, it's not an overnight process. I mean, it's an extremely hard thing to get people to even hear you. So,
and there's a lot of talent out there as well that's been untapped. They just don't have I think it's not that they don't have. It is tough to get into the scene, but most of the time, at least in my experience from like the emails I've been getting for years, the biggest hurdle for people is just doing something.
dedication.
Like, even if it's with zero audience, just putting it out there so that
Somebody
other
will hear.
people can give you feedback. That's the biggest hurdle that a lot of these up and coming wannabe casters find themselves in.
And I'll tell you, anybody that wants to be in this Dota scene, you do just have to do that. I mean, Denny and I and Wazoo just literally blah, blah, blah into a microphone with 0 downloads for weeks and months to get to the point where you kind of just... It is a network, guys. It's just like having a job. You want to impress the manager, and if you impress the manager, then he'll introduce you to his manager maybe, and then it really does work that way, and it does take a lot of hard work. So, in a way, I guess I'm going to play devil's advocate to my own point on the talent agency, is that, I mean, maybe it would be good for people who have already tried to establish themselves. I'm thinking of people like Skim, for instance. He's been working in the scene for a really, really long time. I read some tweet longer from him where he was basically like, look, I've been doing this for 3 years, and I really just don't feel like I found my break. To give him a chance to be in front of a large audience, may just make the breaking point to say, hey, look, yeah, now you're here. For the people that have worked hard. Of course, we're talking about something that isn't even happening and is off in the distance, but I really loved that idea. I thought you guys, you have creative ideas. You have creative people, most importantly, which makes MoonDuk so special to me, is that when I look at that roster, I see the mad genius Pimp Muckle. I see the charismatic Zyori. I see the goofy and charismatic and creative Sir Action Slacks. I see... I don't want to demerit anybody by calling you the brains, but Shannon being like, the leading force there. Sajidine being able to handle everything contractually, also coming up with good plans. And Mop being just an extremely talented caster. Like, you guys have a star lineup. And I think it's just a matter of time. People don't like new things until they're not new anymore. You know what I mean? And I would say, relatively speaking, MoonDuk is still new to a lot of people. And, of course, there are studios, the Good Studio, Beyond the Summit, probably a few others that just kind of have a stranglehold. And, you kind of have to find your own niche in order to, compete.
It's funny that you say it's not even. I don't even think it's a niche. I can't really talk about it though, but it's more understanding how the business. I mean, I consider myself a businessman before all this started, but I wouldn't say I was cutthroat. And I feel like to be successful, even with as you say, a star-studded line, we still have to be kind of cutthroat on some of these negotiations. But I think the ideas that we had at in the beginning are still solid and they're good in nature, but they're just not super realistic at this current point in time. So we just have to wait until we're more solidified, I suppose. But
yeah, I have no.
I hope you don't.
I kind of jumped the gun, I guess, but I don't know.
I hope you don't mind us kind of stealing that idea, because that's what we've been trying to do here at Defense the Patience is get. I mean, for instance,
is listen to all of SUNSfan's ideas and then rip them off.
Well, not necessarily rip them off, but I come across hundreds of people a day that I interact with, right? I just throw myself out there in the community, and we've given people shows, is what we've started doing. We've tried to say, hey, look, Cream Barbecue, you're more than a translator, dude. You're an excellent orator. You're an excellent host. Why don't you do a show? Woodshrew, you know a lot about the game. You bring a funny taste. Here's a Wednesday show. Take it. People will listen to it, and try and just establish people that way where, they didn't really have a somewhere to go home to, which is kind of what Defense the Patience is trying to do. And ever since MoonDuk put it on the website, I mean, we're like, damn, that's a good idea. Let's just yank that. Maybe we call ourselves like Moon.P Studios or something like that, and we'll actually use a duck this time, and you guys can still use your hippopotamus. No, but you guys, I just can't wait. I know MoonDuk will be successful because it's impossible not to with how many intelligent people you have. I mean,
yeah, it's definitely a lot.
I failed to mention Purge earlier, by the way, as well, who is just, I love when he does his mental math in games. Purge, when he's like, okay, 125 plus 3, 60% of that. Okay, yeah, I should do this. Like, you've got talent. It's a ticking time bomb. It's just waiting to explode.
So I have a question for you that's off all of these topics. Just because I so rarely get the opportunity to ask somebody, who's directly involved in something that I read on Reddit. But I saw some Reddit thread about like Dota Cinema not updating the website recently or something. And I know you haven't. On the last show, you told us that you weren't obviously as heavily involved with Dota Cinema anymore. But I was curious if you had any insight into what's going on over there, what's happening with Dota Cinema.
Did I say that?
I don't know. I think he's. I
might be misremembering.
I don't really remember that.
Probably what I said, and I could be wrong, but probably what I said was I just haven't been spending as much time on it. But
maybe that's what it was.
And it's because MoonDuk was coming out in DC. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of spread myself a little thin. Not gonna lie, so I just starting to prioritize things a little bit better now. As far as the website, yeah.
I'm hireable, by the way.
Well, that's the problem.
I'm completely
So the problem is, how do I put this? So for the website, let's just talk about the website in particular. So the VOD section, I've always loved it. The idea behind the website in general was to never make a cent on it. Like, I didn't really care about making money. I got free hosting. I got all this free stuff from sponsors, and then we put ads up, and then whoever wanted to help us, we just give them 100% of the Google ad revenue. And this was before I knew how much websites made, and it's not very much, obviously.
What are you talking about? I've got a Bugatti outside, man. What are you talking about?
Especially considering how many people use AdBlock these days, it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
And,
I think we've earned like 30 cents.
I mean, people have lost interest, and a decent amount of people use the VOD section, but it's not like astronomical or anything. But a lot of it has to do with just the volunteers not feeling like they're getting paid enough. Well, that's not the right way to put it. Like, we have 3 people on the website. It's always been 3 people. We have 2 programmers, and then one guy that does the VODs. And one programmer has just kind of disappeared, but he was with us for so long, and it's perfectly understandable. He has bigger priorities now. The other programmer is helping us with a lot of other stuff, so this is kind of like low priority as well. And then the guy doing the VOD section has found another job. So it's always about, like, you have better opportunities elsewhere. I'm not going to stop you from doing them.
Right.
And
yeah.
I mean, none of us honestly get very much, if anything, out of the website.
Well, and and honestly, sorry if that was maybe like I definitely hope I didn't bring up a sore like subject in any regards there, but I think that's a testament to the positivity behind the community that so many people were willing to donate their time to that, and you see it. I mean, you see it elsewhere. Like Join Dota has a similar model. I mean, the majority of their staff writers are volunteers, and sometimes they get better gigs. And we're buddies with Mally.
We've got 2 converts.
And, and Mally, he tells them, go do it. Let this kind of be a gateway, or put this on a resume as experience.
I think Mally demands like a kind of like getting out of a cell phone contract. It's somewhere around like $650 to cancel from your Join Dota and go on Dota.
Right, and I mean, we started all of this stuff based on what our passions were, right? Like, just as an example, we started the YouTube channel. Neil started it doing his own voice work, which was awful, and then he brought me in, and I just wanted to do it for fun, and it turned into a job. And once you get entrenched in something like this, and once you start other projects, money actually does matter. I'm not saying you want to, like, you have no passion left or anything like that, but you do have to have a priority list of some sort. And like YouTube, this is another good example. YouTube, we, as a channel, have been, for lack of a better word, just fucked by YouTube.
Yeah.
Have you heard of YouTube Red?
No, I haven't.
Yes, I don't know what it is, but I've heard of it.
I would love an explanation.
The general concept is, okay, let me just paint a picture for you. So before, you would get paid based on like demographic CPM. So let's say like the US gives, I don't know, like $3 for every 1,000 views. That's like just a random number I'm throwing out there.
Sure.
And it's based on each view, okay? And it depends on demographics. So if you get like a huge SEA audience or South America like we do, it's even like it's 20 cents or even non-existent for some countries, right? Ugh. So Dota never really had a good demographic for YouTube. It just never was the case. But we got so many views that we were able to make enough money to live off, which is fine. Sure. And again, that was like wasn't even in my mind at the beginning of the whole thing. Now things have changed a little bit. YouTube Red has come into the scene where it's based on minutes viewed. So if you make, like, you've heard of Raunchy, right? Raunchy Animation.
I saw his video where he's like, it takes me a week to make 3 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's gotten even worse for him. So you spend so much time. Like we have, like for let's just say a top plays or fails or any of our videos that we make, like montage. Typically speaking, maybe not fails, but every other video, it's under 10 minutes, like 3 or 4 minutes. You have to have volunteers. Well, I call them volunteers. Technically, they're paid. So we have these guys, community members, that go through literally thousands of clips. Then you have somebody organize them all. Then you have somebody trim them down. Then you have the editor make the video. Then you have somebody commentate over if needed. Then you edit the audio. Like, there's so much involved in making a video, and you make like nothing. So, for example, like W200 Me, in many cases, we pay him more money than we make on a video. It's very, very common these days, just because of YouTube, right? So what it's catering towards is like these vlog type videos where, or even Purge video. Like Purge video probably make a lot more money.
Oh yeah, well, and it's so much easier.
Literally, like it takes
talking over a game.
Yeah, it takes almost. I shouldn't say it takes no effort, but it's much less effort than what we would go through, right? You just record your game, you talk over it, you're done, you upload it. It's really long. You get the minutes viewed, you get a lot more money.
And most people are going to watch it.
It takes literally 20 times as much, and we get, even if it's a lot of views, we don't get that much because of both the demographics, which is still a thing, and the minutes viewed. And then on top of that, which I haven't really looked at the recent stats, but I looked up 6 months ago. Like, I'm so depressed when I look at the stats now, or the analytics in YouTube. But 6 months ago, 70% of people use AdBlock on our videos. So it's like we're getting fucked from every single angle possible. So we have to find other avenues in which to make money, which is a workshop, which is me expanding to the team, which isn't really, it's more of an investment at this point. Obviously, it's more long-term. And then Moonduck, which been a slow start, but we should be getting there.
I mean, was Moonduck? It didn't. Did it cost that much to get Moonduck up and going? Wasn't it more of just an agreement of talent than it was overhead and price?
The team was the investment. The Moonduck one is just more of a collaboration, and we're just waiting for something to happen.
Which is nice about kind of making, I don't know, an entertainment studio. You guys are different because you're like a caster studio. You know, you're willing to do third party. You're willing to do tournaments yourself. It is much easier. Like, for instance, our costs are pretty goddamn minimal. And like, yeah, we had to buy the microphones. Yeah, we had to upgrade some stuff. Yeah, we have to have a platform to record on and whatnot. But once it's paid for, it's done. Like, I don't need to go out and get new mics because these mics are now broken because I recorded with you. Like, I can use these mics 1,000 times, you know, if not more. Whereas with other pursuits, it definitely is much more taxing overhead.
Well, I mean,
and whatnot.
just the time for someone on a video alone. That's what I.
Yeah, Raunchy's video, and he put a little clip. So his video was like, "Hey, I can't do this. It's just not feasible." And then he like had a little thing flash on the screen because he was talking about the minutes, just like SUNSfan just did. And he flashed "Let's Play," and it's like, yeah, I mean, Purge definitely. He didn't like mean to at first because when he started doing Purge plays, I'm sure it was by download, not by minutes. But now I watch the whole thing when I watch a Purge play, and they're generally an hour, and I watch them frequently.
Well, the length of a Dota game. I mean, that's
Yep.
Yeah. And even if say a Dota Cinema, fails of the week or whatever, something like that, that's 10 minutes long, gets 100,000 downloads, and Purge gets 10,000 downloads. Well, my minutes watched is going to be a lot more on that 10,000 than on that 100,000.
Right. And then going back to where some people thought that our YouTube channel, which, I mean, they weren't wrong, our YouTube channel was kind of being, I don't know if lazy is the right word, but just less content, which is definitely true. But take all of what I said into account, plus the fact that when Reborn came out, we lost literally tens of thousands of replays that will never be recovered again. And every time there's an update, well, I shouldn't say every time, a lot of times when there's an update, it breaks the replays. And we have to wait for them to fix it.
I didn't even think of that.
So take that into account.
Cause
and then
effect.
The third thing, which is my fault, and I'll take blame for that, is I was prioritizing it less because I have all these other projects that I wanted to work on. Which now that they're kind of, I don't want to say autonomous, but now that other people are helping me, shouldn't be really an issue. I should be able to find time for all three now. So.
Well, yeah. Sajidine managing the team has got to take a huge workload off of DC for you, I'm sure.
For sure.
And Moonduck, I feel like you said it was pretty easy to do What the Duck. That's a really smart idea for you guys because your shows are an hour long.
Yeah.
Or so.
And at least it's just talking straight.
And it's just talking, so you can almost start to recover some YouTube money. And for the most part, you're English speaking, so you're going to get English speaking countries. America, Canada, being those big ones. Europe as well.
Guess which country gives the most CPM based on demographics? I'm
going to say which country. I'm going to call it a continent and say Australia because that's where we get a shitload.
Yeah.
Is Australia. Yeah, Australia is our biggest market.
Yeah, it's weird how much that market seems to be growing. I can't remember who it was that we had on that was talking.
Bunny, maybe.
No, it was one of the. Maybe it was Bunny.
Bunny or a Nooksy.
Yeah, just kind of talking about that the Australian demographic.
I think it was Bunny because she lives in New Zealand which is
one
right
of
up the
casters
coast.
We had on too. Spent some time in Australia. Anyway,
Yeah.
So what are you doing when you're not doing all this stuff? What's downtime for SUNSfan looking like these days?
Good question. I mean, as you might imagine, a lot of my hobbies kind of coincide with my job, so it's hard to even distinguish between the two. But obviously, I like to play Dota, and I love movies. So that's like the only time I leave the house, other than to shop for food, is to go watch a movie. So.
What's the best movie you've seen recently?
Not the Hateful Eight.
I like the Hateful Eight.
I like the Hateful Eight. I like Star Wars. I'm trying to think. The last.
Did you see The
movie that I
Revenant?
really, really, really like. What was it?
Did you see The Revenant?
Revenant. Yeah, Revenant was good. I mean,
if you want to
the bear
see,
scene was like the best scene I've ever seen. I think. And
Yeah.
The rest of the movie was okay. That's how I felt about it.
The
But
rest
Leo
of,
better win an Oscar. I'm gonna be pissed.
I don't think he deserves it. Is what I'm
Wow.
gonna say.
He deserves it for something.
He
Like,
deserves it for
He,
his previous
he deserves
work.
it for Wolf of Wall Street.
Oscars-
He deserves it for a bunch of different
Oscars are
things.
usually about your body of work more so than it is
the individual
the
film
nomination that you
gets
actually
that
Yeah.
gets it to you. I
what's
mean,
who was acting with him again?
Tom Hardy?
Tom Hardy. God damn.
That guy, if
Dickie
he
Goodyear.
doesn't win, it's rigged.
Yeah,
That is,
if
like,
he doesn't win Best
amazing.
Supporting Role,
Tom
yeah.
Hardy's just an amazing. He's how did he slip by everybody for so long without us realizing what an incredible talent he
My
was?
first introduction to him was Lawless with Shia LaBeouf. And I
never
was
seen
like,
that.
and I was just like, whatever, something about Prohibition with Shia LaBeouf. Guess I'll watch it. And Tom Hardy is just like, he's the older brother, okay? And they're running this Prohibition, they're running booze in like Louisiana or something like that, some backwoods country. And it's like, it is an excellent performance by Tom Hardy. And that was like, oh yeah, he's actually really good. And
Have you seen Legend?
no,
I want to see
No.
that though. It's playing at one of the
He
local
plays-
art house theaters
Yeah, he
here.
plays the two brothers, one of which is just a normal guy, and the other guy is just fucking crazy. And it's an amazing. I mean, the movie was kind of meh, but the performance was pretty.
I'm
amazing.
gonna go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go scope that. That and Trumbo I want to see
yeah,
before
it's-
award season.
when is that? When do we find out?
The nominees are already out.
Honestly, did Matt Damon get nominated?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that's who I want to see win.
Actually, now that I think about it, the two movies that stood out to me from the last year were Ex Machina and Martian.
Yeah,
I really
Ex
liked
Machina
them.
and Martian.
Ex Machina hurts my soul a little bit.
Ex Machina, Ex Machina reminded me of that movie Moon, if you've ever seen it, where
Love that movie.
yeah.
where
Kevin Spacey the robot.
Yeah.
yeah.
Best
But
character ever.
it felt like there was a huge cast, but if you think about Ex Machina, there was like 3 people in the movie, and if you think about Moon, there were like 3 people
Two
in
of
the
them
movie.
from the newest Star Wars. Oscar Isaac and Dom Hall. I can't remember his last name.
But anyway, like Ex Machina, you're watching it and it feels normal, but then you realize at some point in the movie that it's like there are only like 3 people in this movie or 4 people in this movie, and 2 of them are robots. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
it's.
And did you realize you guys watch Star Wars, right?
Oh,
Oh,
of course, yeah.
The fighter pilot is the same guy from Ex Machina.
Yeah, that's Oscar
Yep.
Isaac, and then the general is the other guy. The
Yeah.
First
exactly.
Order general is
Pretty-
the other.
Yeah,
Pretty hilarious.
it is. I mean, and it was Ex Machina was awesome. The Martian, I have probably seen it 20 times now. It's my movie that I fall asleep to. I rewatch it and rewatch
Really?
it.
That's
really
It's well, you know how much I love like the science fiction.
Sure.
And that movie felt just spot on. It kind of bums me out they called it a comedy, but I mean
you
watching
should read
it.
the book.
Yeah, watching it 20 times now or so. I don't finish it every time because I fall asleep usually, but like it's just such an excellent movie. I love the movies where it's like problem solving. Like we have a problem, let's solve it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I think I would agree with you. When Ex Machina, because I didn't see Ex Machina in theaters, when it came to Amazon Prime and it was like $15 to buy it, just for my digital copy, I was like, "Yep, gonna do that because I want to watch this right now." Watched it, was blown away.
Mr. Holmes is what I'm gonna get on Amazon Prime next.
Yeah, I would say that I would hope I would hope that Matt Damon wins Best Actor.
Yeah.
And I would hope that Tom Hardy wins Best Supporting Role for The Revenant.
I think you're going to be half right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Matt Damon deserves it more than Leo Cap. I mean, you can crawl through snow for as long as you want, but I don't think that gives you an Oscar. You know what I mean?
No, like I said, I think it's going to be for other stuff. So, SUNSfan, do you play any games besides Dota?
I used to play Counter-Strike, but I'm too pissed off at it lately, so I haven't picked it up in a couple months.
Don't get choked. Don't get choked.
No, don't make those jokes.
I'm kind of a Counter-Strike elitist, honestly, and I'm a self-proclaimed elitist because I played for literally 17 years now.
Whoa.
And it's my opinion that it's the worst version of Counter-Strike there's ever been. And the only reason it's popular is because they put in betting and a matchmaking system. And
their market isn't fucked like Dota's is.
Yeah.
Like that's one thing.
Dota's coming back slowly.
Yeah.
Very slowly.
Well, I mean, yeah, we were
like the last update in December helped, but there's still a ways to go.
We were reading, recently. I mean, because they had like a 16% drop off in players, and then
that's come back a lot though.
Well, yeah, I mean, they had at 1.1 million concurrent players and 12 million unique accounts. So over the course of December,
I
January.
think it's just it's a slow build up to TI and then a drop off and then a slow build up to TI and then a drop off from what I've seen in the almost 2 years.
Well, for this year, it's more because of Reborn. So Reborn just that was my saying theory. They shouldn't have come out with it because I guess they felt they had to, but
imagine if they released it like today. If they released it how it is right now today, how happy people would be with Reborn.
Well, the problem with that is then you wouldn't have a mass testing because.
Yeah.
Just imagine how many people are testing this, technically speaking, even if they're not even wanting to, because it's the only choice.
Exactly.
They wouldn't have fixed it by now, honestly.
True, it would have just been fucked, but 6 months later.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of computers couldn't handle Reborn at first, and even now, there's still a lot of performance issues.
Yeah,
and on top of that, they just deleted the store. I don't know what they're, honestly, I have no idea what they're thinking about the store.
They just, that Weaver set that they just released where it's just like individual items? Anyway, you may not know about it. This was made in 2014. All of those items were made in 2014. They're trying to sell it like it's new, which is like, what the fuck? We have great. I've talked. It's like it looks like a Weaver set. Like it's like a Weaver. It looks like Weaver, and it's a set. I can't remember what it's called. If you log into Dota, you'll see it. Matter of fact, I can even look at my OBS.
I know there's been a lot of single sets coming out, and that is. Workshop artist.
Treasure of the Southern Siorn, whatever.
Oh, the cockroach thing.
Yeah, it looks like. Oh yeah, I guess that's a cockroach more than Weaver.
Yeah, I did an opening on this. I was like, this is probably my least favorite chest ever.
Yeah, it was made in 2014. Every item was made in 2014. They're all uncommons, but what does that mean anymore? You know what I mean? What is uncommon, rare, immortal, whatever? The only thing that really matters is if it makes flashy things. You know what I mean? At this point. Does it do a cool new particle effect? Because if not, it may as well be uncommon or common. Anyway, yeah, I was really disappointed seeing that set get put through, and was just like, what the hell? And then I did some research on it. It was like 2014. Like, we have people like Anuxi and Terracotta that are extremely talented and I'm sure are working on sets. Why aren't those up there? Another thing that's boggled my mind is why aren't their names on it? For God's sakes, like, if
I always wonder that too.
When I go into my armory, I want to see, like, made by this person. Like, oh my God, I'm going to Google this person's name and see what else they've made because this set is awesome.
Because, technically speaking, once you submit to the workshop, it's owned by Valve.
But can't you do, like, a made by, owned by Valve, but made by this person?
I definitely don't disagree. I'm just saying what Valve's likely to be thinking in this scenario.
I think
we've been working on, like, a bunch of stuff for Captain's Draft, which should be coming out soon.
Cool.
It's the unfortunate thing, and I've learned this the last literal 6 months I've been working on this. That's how long it takes. But no particles, no ability icons, no new heroes, and even with the heroes that are technically were available, a lot of them you can't do because of Reborn right now, such as like we have a tiny set. I'm trying to get our tiny set in, but it's a no right now because they're just not accepting tiny sets because it just takes too much work to fix whatever's wrong with it, and they have a lot of other stuff on their
Well, have you seen Skinny Tiny? You know, that glitch where Tiny is just like...
They fixed that finally.
Yeah, the Skinny Tiny. I thought it looked pretty cool, actually. It was a happy glitch.
That's going to be a new cosmetic coming up.
Yeah.
Assuming you had a set completely designed, right? How long does it take... What do you think the average length of time is to get a set approved?
It depends on if it's bundled with the tournament or just left to be.
So bundled with a
open.
tournament, what would you be looking at, and bundled without a tournament, or without a tournament, what would you be looking at? Like just from your experience.
Well, that also depends. There's so many like variables here. So, okay, I'll give you two scenarios for the tournament. If you're making your own sets for the tournament, which we tried to do, some of which are getting in, that obviously it takes 2 months, let's say 2 to 3 months to make the set. And then Valve has to approve it, which it just depends on when your tournament starts, because they don't start like looking into it until like close to the deadline.
Oh, wow.
And then, for example, if something doesn't get in, then you have to scramble to find something else to replace it. So for us, we found, I'm not going to say what it is, but something that was released literally last week.
And you're just like, hurry, make it, hurry! I don't care if it doesn't have particle effects. Make it.
Well, the thing with that is, like, we know a lot of the artists and we've worked with them before, and we love the sets. I mean, I would never choose a set I didn't like anyway, but there's that. And then if you do it without tournament bundle, then God knows. God only knows. It's just like complete RNG.
RNGesus can be good and bad to us, right? It just depends. So, I mean, SUNSfan, I know our audience really appreciates when you come on and share your insight. I mean, we can see it literally. Believe it or not, we can look at our numbers and see downloads.
Well, and the third or fourth most popular episode was SUNSfan and Sajidine, and
it was first for the longest time, but and
it skyrocketed to that position pretty quickly.
And I did a bunch of Google research on it. I was like, why? Because we've had people on like with similar amounts of followers, and I looked, and it's you don't do many interviews. People don't really get, you do typed interviews, I could read a Q&A with you, but you don't do many. So people, I mean, I know I really appreciate you coming on Defense of the Patients and talking with us and sharing your insight on running a YouTube channel that is
kind of the state of the industry.
Yeah,
it's
really
interesting to,
and you have your hand in a lot of cookie jars too. So it's interesting to talk to you about, like, all right, enough of owning a team. Let's talk about owning a studio. Yeah. Okay, enough about owning a studio. Let's talk about owning a really successful YouTube channel. Or not. I don't know what your affiliation is with the cinema, whether you own it or whatnot, but
yeah,
work heavily with it. So co-own it. Okay.
But yeah, so definitely thanks for coming on the show. We look forward to seeing what DC's up to, what Moonduck's up to. I'm psyched to see more What the Duck episodes. Those have been really enjoyable.
That's not just us saying that. I mean, that's something I've just seen so much from the community.
Yeah,
have you heard of What the Duck?
Well.
I get that all the time. Have you heard of What the Duck? And I was like,
listening to What the Duck?
I was like, yeah, I've heard of What the Duck. Trust me, I just saw the latest episode.
Sure, Flax carries us in that for sure.
He's definitely a major.
That goofy bastard all over the place. God damn it.
So if you guys want to check out What the Duck, just go to Moonduck's website, moonduck.tv, spelled just like you think it is. There's a podcast section where you can go and check out those episodes, and the rest of the site is worth a peek as well, because the Moonduck's up to a lot of cool stuff, and like SUNSfan told us, we got that Captain's Draft tournament coming up tomorrow for those of you listening to this on its release date on Monday.
And I think everybody on Moonduck has been on our show with the exception of Purge.
Draskell.
Oh, my.
And Draskell. And Draskell. So Purge and Draskell are the only people that you actually haven't heard us conduct an interview with. So we're going to have to fix that.
Sure.
Can I gush over Purge to you?
No, don't do it. No. I don't want to hear it. If you guys want to follow SUNSfan and find out what he's up to by the minute, you can scope him out on Twitter at SUNSfanTV. And of course, just you can Google SUNSfan and see all sorts of crazy stuff he's up to. Facebook, he's on SUNSfan TV. There's a ton of good stuff out there where you can keep an eye on the man who's got the pulse of the industry.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this, that of course when people are recording, they generally want to seem agreeable and nice. I've seen a lot of that where people come on our show and they're agreeable and nice because they know that they're recording. Trust me, there is no difference from when we're not recording and when we are recording with SUNSfan. This is how he acts. This is who SUNSfan is.
See, that's actually the interesting thing is, like, there's so many people that are just completely different in person than they are online, and I always thought, like, it's hard to judge yourself sometimes. You need like an outside perspective, but I always felt like I was exactly the same, both online and in person. And I'm considering this in person. Yeah. And so many people have said that's the case, which I don't know if it's good or not. But
no,
I think it is.
Nobody likes facades. Nobody likes facades because it's
like,
nice.
I know I rubbed some people the wrong way for sure, but I think the way I describe it is I'm very genuine, and I don't like to bullshit that much. I've learned that I have to a little bit nowadays because a lot of people are a little too touchy, but
No, I
just the way
appreciate.
I just like to be myself.
I appreciate you being yourself. I mean, I'll let everybody in on that I talked to SUNSfan for 20 minutes last night about a possible venture with DotP, and he was willing to give me 20 minutes where he told me you told me the potential pitfalls and how you would do it, and just this guy is willing to give free advice. I mean, coming from somebody who has built a
So everybody
empire.
out there who wants some free advice from SUNSfan,
no. I'm just saying, like, that's
Yeah,
something that is
yeah.
just like super respect. Like, that's like, he cares about the community. He wants to see it grow. Give this guy money, support. Get Moonduck up there.
Please.
go watch
You guys
go
are
watch
doing a
those
great
DC
job. Keep
games.
up the good work. It'll continue to grow for sure. You just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, and we.
That's
yeah.
the plan for the foreseeable
Well, we're
future.
just trying to get hired by Moonduck, really. That's why we keep having you on. I think we'd be a great addition. I could sit right next to Purge.
Rolling
too.
to work for about 30 cents an hour.
Yeah,
His
no, I'll
rates have
work
gone
for free.
up.
I just want to sit next to Purge and just kind of be able to talk to him and
Hold his
Yeah,
hand.
he won't find that creepy.
maybe
He'll love
hold
it.
my hand from time to time if he wants to. Anyway, okay.
Okay, all right, enough from you, Roland. But yeah, you guys go check out SUNSfan's work and follow DC and take a look at that Captain's Draft tournament coming up tomorrow. Where are you guys going to be streaming that on your Twitch channel?
Yeah, we'll be streaming on Moonduck TV, and then it's not 100%, but it's likely that for the playoffs, which are in mid-February, everybody's coming to my house, so it should be fun.
Oh, that's going to be a
That
blast,
is
I'm
really
sure.
cool. Oh, also, SUNSfan, do you do giveaways ever? You've done giveaways before, yeah?
I stopped doing them because people turn into animals.
Sure, they do turn into animals. Have you ever done a giveaway? So you have done
Yeah.
giveaways. So I have an i5 4460 right here because I just upgraded my computer that I'm going to be giving away. Do you have any like creative ways on how to give that away? I mean, how have you done it in the past?
Well, what do you mean by creative? You mean
Like
the way to benefit you the most as far as getting like viewers and stuff?
no,
No,
not
Everyone's
that
gonna
way.
want a free computer, so
Okay, so go ahead and tweet at .p show a creative way to give away an i5 4460, and whoever tweets at .p show the most creative way to give this away will get it. So I
how
did just
about the person that can draw the most realistic penis on the mini map?
Oh, that is
I like
fucking good. That is good. Okay, so the most realistic penis on the minimap, tweeted to @p_show.
Maybe just tweet those to @p_Roland.
Okay, tweet those to @p_Roland. I have a brand new i5 4460 4th gen. I just upgraded to a 4790K, so I'm giving this bad boy away. I'll ship it out to you @p_Roland. SUNSfan, it is an absolute pleasure having you on, and thank you for all you do for the community.
Thanks, guys. Fun as always.
And if you guys want to find us, we're at defenseofthepatients.com. Tweet at us at @p_show. Email us at defenseofthepatients@gmail.com. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, all your favorite podcast apps, just by searching Defense of the Patients. I know we've got some reviews to get to. We got an email to get to. Tune in on Friday. Maybe we'll try to get in. We're going to be doing a special bonus episode Friday with a special guest that I'm not going to announce yet. But we will try to get to those emails and reviews on that episode if we have time. So until next time, folks, this is Cyphus for Roland and SUNSfan saying good luck and Godspeed.